Boo! Okay, that was pathetically not scary. But being scared is one thing. What about creeped out? And as it's nowhere near Halloween, I thought, let's make a top 10 creepypasta video list. So, 3 things to consider. I haven't read or seen every single creepypasta in the world, and some I don't even understand, so yeah. And 2, maybe I didn't like your favourite one. Just saying. I mean, I have opinions of my own, you know, your gold might be my shit, you know. And 3, maybe it just didn't, it was good, maybe it was really good, but it just didn't hit this list. And I might do an extra video of honourable mentions after I've done this list. So, if you are watching this and it didn't get on this list, don't be too disheartened. So yeah, keep those 3 in mind. And a bonus one, these are all opinion based, this is not fact, so don't go, oh my god, you didn't put this, and you know. So, yeah, just grab a beer and enjoy this. I'm trying my best not to give any plot details away, because the main reason I'm not giving plot details away is because even when you describe the plot, it gives most of it away. So I want any newcomers for the creepypastas who click this video, I want you guys to dive in with no knowledge of it. And that's the funnest way to dive in with no knowledge. Number 9. Devil's Game. Now, Devil's Game is very different from all the others' written perspective. I mean, all the other ones, including Suicide Mouse, were written in past perspective. This one is written in instruction style. And with the title Devil Game, you would imagine it's about the devil, and you would be correct. Basically, it's instructions how to talk to him and communicate with him and maybe make a deal out of him. And it is pretty well done. I mean, like, not standing on anyone's beliefs or anything, but in my books, the devil's a really bad guy, and, you know, and making a deal with him is not the smartest move. It's like, imagine making a deal with a mob for £1 million and you have to pay it back in 3 days. You're not gonna be able to do that, let's face it. So, it's like, and the writer makes the devil very human-like, which is really good, because, I think we all picture the devil as a kind of horn monster creature that well, the god of hell. Not standing on anyone's beliefs, don't, I'm not trying to ruin anyone's beliefs. But yeah, check it out, it is really good. I'm trying my best not to give any plot details away, because the main reason I'm not giving plot details away is because even when you describe the plot, it gives most of it away. So I want any newcomers for the creepypastas who click this video, I want you guys to dive in with no knowledge of it. And that's the funnest way to dive in with no knowledge. So, let's move on to number 8. Number 10. Suicide Mouse. Now, as I said earlier, I'll try my best to explain this. It's really fucking creepy. That's the best way I can sum it up. It's, especially if you're like me, you've grown up with Mickey Mouse, you know, oh boy, sort of, you know, and then everything you know about him sort of gets twisted on its side, and then you sort of lose a bit of faith in your childhood. Yeah. Okay, my overall thought of it is really creepy. I highly recommend watching it but with that said, this is only going to be for only one lost episode creepypasta that's on this list. Just saying, because I really don't like lost episode creepypastas, because they're all so the same. I mean, it's just that I think they're kind of lazy a little bit, in my opinion. But this one proved me wrong. It's a pretty creepy one. Check it out. I don't want to say anything about it because with the title alone, you kind of gathered what it's about. And watch with your own haste, So yeah, let's move on to number 9. We've had the devil. Let's talk about God. God's mouth, number 8. Now, God's mouth is not as... it was one of the first creepypastas I've ever listened to. And of course, when it's one of your first, it's one of your best. Insert sex joke here. But then you get introduced to the later ones on the list, and you're like, oh wait, it wasn't as good as blah 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 blah. So, would I recommend it? Yeah. Well, it's on number 8. God's mouth is not about God. Just clarifying. It's a cave. It's like it's a cave in I don't think it actually says where it is. It's a cave somewhere. Okay, it's just cave insert country here. But they. Sorry, I'm pausing a lot. It's about these 2 explorers. I think they're newlyweds, and they go exploring, and they run into a cave that's called God's Mouth. And of course, there's a sign that says, "Do not enter, or else blah blah blah." If you value your life, do not enter. And what do? They enter because they're dumb shits. And it's really good. I don't want to describe what happens. It's the least goresome one out of the 2. Actually, Devil's Game wasn't that gory, but it's probably the least gory one on the list, in my opinion. So, but the ending and the build-up, you don't actually see coming. And it's pretty clever, actually. So, I would give it a watch, or a read, or whatever. Number 7. Jeff the Killer. I know. Why number 7, when so many people have had it as their top 3? A lot of the story kind of snapped you out of it. This is probably the most detailed one I'm going to give, so sorry. I sort of go against what I say, so I'm sorry. But Jeff the Killer, obviously about I think he's like 14, 15 or 13. He's called Jeff, obviously, and he gets picked on. He's got a cousin or a brother, I think, I can't remember. And they get bullied, and there's these bullies that are the most unrealistic bullies ever. I'm sorry, they're just so unrealistic. I mean, even Nelson from Simpsons would be like, dude, that's pretty stupid. Haha. No, but then, okay, and basically they pick on Jeff and his brother. Jeff stands up for them and stabs one of them. It's like, I'm just going to carry a knife, don't mind me. And of course, but then his cousin or brother, I'm sorry, I haven't actually listened to it in a while. He gets blamed. He goes to juvie, and then Jeff is forced to go to this party, and from a psychological point of view, this is a really good story, because it's like I think what was the appeal of Breaking Bad. You see the psychological side of Jeff in this case, breaking down into this murderous monster. Anyway, back to story. And then the bullies come. They have guns, because why the fuck not? And start shooting the place up, and doesn't alert any police whatsoever. But plot says so. And then Jeff and the main bully get into a fight. Bully throws bleach on Jeff, so his face is, and then sets on fire, and then his face is all burnt and white. Yeah, and that's it. And then he sort of becomes a murderer and starts killing his family and stuff. It's quite gory, but as I said, there are a load of things that snap you out of it, and the main thing for me was Jeff and the bullies. It's what he looks like. Burnt victims don't look like that. You can doesn't. If it was more, I don't know, science fiction, it would explain. But like bleach only works on clothes. That make suck all the colour out. It doesn't work on skin. If anyone's thinking, just going to say, but bleach does this. It doesn't. And so I can understand for some logic behind it, but it doesn't make much sense. I'm sorry. But with that said, it's still a good story, and I did enjoy it. And speaking of Jeff, he's also in number 6 as well. Number 6. Jeff the Killer versus Slenderman. Or Slenderman versus Jeff the Killer, vice versa, it doesn't really matter. This, well, as the title says, is Jeff the Killer versus Slenderman. How much freaking awesome can you get? And I know what a lot of people are thinking, this shouldn't really be in the top 10 because it's kind of cheating a little bit, but I don't really care because it's my list. As the title says, Jeff the Killer bumps into Slenderman. We'll get to Slenderman in a minute because he's also on my list, but I'm not going to say what number. And he basically, they fight. That is basically the story. And with a title like that, what else do you expect? I mean, it's told from the perspective of a girl at first, then it kind of loses focus, which is really bad from writing perspective, but I'll forgive it because it's Jeff the Killer versus Slenderman. What else do you want? It's brilliant. Just, even if you don't know much about the two characters, just read it and you'll enjoy it, and I promise you that. And I salute you if you've took my advice. So let's move on to number 5. Fuzzy. Now, Fuzzy, I don't want to say too much because it is really good. And I would recommend it to anyone. But the outcome, the ending, will shock you, and it's the image of it that, I mean, when anyone says Fuzzy in a sentence, that image jumps my head. I'm like, ugh, so, but it's really good, and I highly recommend it, so go and watch it, and if you took that advice, I salute you again. 2 salutes, man. Do it. Yeah. Number 4, Das Slenderman. Okay, for Slenderman. But to hear me out on this, I know he's extremely overused. He's like the godfather of the Creepypasta character universal. For Creepypasta, for Pastafus, I don't know. Someone make something up out of that. But he's one of the first recurring Creepypasta characters I've ever seen. Not in real life. Fuck. But he is pretty cool and interesting to a degree. I mean, I can understand why people are a bit sick of him, and that's how The Rake was born. So Slenderman 2.0. But it's still, I really enjoy it. Any story, because all stories sort of work the same. And it kind of works for his character, for the amount of different people who have written him, because he's sort of this urban legend, and of course urban legends to people, some people, I'm trying to think of an urban legend that people use, they're like Greek gods, they've been told so many times that there's so many different stories and everything, but if I had to suggest one, I would suggest the original story with about this woman who sees him. Oh, and Slenderman is real. That is a really good mindfuck one. Number 3, Ronald McDonald's house. Now, this is going to be a good one for any McDonald's lovers, but this is a Another one I didn't see coming, with a title called Ronald McDonald's House. I thought it's like, Ronald McDonald's just going to kill people, and, you know, he's actually alive, and he cooks people and makes them, you know, into burgers and stuff. No. This is 10 times worse than that. I mean, worse in a good way. Basically, there's this kid. I'm going to call him John, because I can't remember his name. I know his name's not really important, you know. And John is a really naughty boy, and he's a foster kid, and basically he has a choice of Ronald McDonald's foster care, or, which is a real thing, by the way, just saying, which makes it more believable, or military school. And if you're a normal person, you choose that one. And then things fall apart really fast, and yeah, it is really disturbing, and I dare say not even for faint of heart, so make sure you know what you're getting into. So yeah, that is really... I got a bit pale after saying that. God, that's how powerful this is. And that's what I want to say about it, because I don't ruin anything else, because... Okay, number 2. Ben drowned. Yep. Not joking. Ben drowned, number 2. And I know what everyone's thinking, it's been used a billion times on other people's list. I think that's for a good reason, because it's just so well written, and if you see the gameplay video of it, it's even more creepy and disturbing, and the game itself is actually quite a scary game for Zelda games. I'm not a Zelda fan. I'm not a fan, but I haven't really played them that much, so I can't really talk, and a load of Zelda fans probably hate me now, but oh well. I'll sleep at night. But it is really scary, and it's the statue. How did you guys even not get creeped out by the statue before this was a pasta? I mean, did anyone, like... You guys probably have no idea what I'm on about if you've never heard this one, so just zone out for a sec. But how did you guys not get creeped out by this? I mean, it's just really creepy. Yeah. Interesting, number 2. I can't say much about it. Basically, a kid dies, called Ben, by drowning. That solves that riddle. And his soul gets trapped in a old N64 cartridge of Zelda, and then a load of weird ass shit happens. Pretty much, it is extremely cliched and quite stupid when you don't know what you're going in for. But trust me, it's worth it. It is a good one. Which brings us to number 1. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be really disappointed, but I don't care. No, number 1 is... Okay, number 1. Don't be mad. I couldn't decide on a number 1. I know. But, as a big, massive conclusion, I've chosen 3 number 1s. And I know what you're thinking, that's kind of ish cheating, and especially one of them is really cheating, but I will explain why these will be the most detailed ones. So let's begin. Number 1.1 is Funny Mouth. And these 3 also have nothing to do with each other, by the way. They're very different tones of pastas. So creepypastas, I shouldn't say pastas, people get confused. So number 1.1, as I said, was Funny Mouth. Funny Mouth basically is this unknown user who is on a chat room, and basically he's this massive troll, and the troll, I'm going to call him the troll, he basically makes this guy go a bit insane, and he starts going into his dreams and stuff, and it is really creepy. And I wouldn't recommend this one if you're not very computer not very with computers and stuff, you might find this one a bit irritating because there's a bit of reading with it, even if you watch a video of it. But it's worth it if you are committed and want to get a bit creeped out. Number 1.2, Smiley Man, or Smile Man. I think, Smile Man makes more sense. This one, it sort of comes out of nowhere, really. It's just this guy walking at 2 a.m. in the morning because his roommate does something, I don't know, it doesn't go in much detail. He's just walking, nice nighttime stroll, and he sees this guy from a distance walking like old cartoon sort of style. He's like, okay, just some drunk guy, but then the guy just is fixed on him and he starts acting like a cartoon. But he's not a cartoon, he's a normal bloke. And it's really weird and creepy. And for God, you can imagine, we've all met someone freaking like that once in our lives, and we're like, okay, maybe I know someone like that, and you get a bit scared. And number 1.3, which get a load of people angry, and it's an 8-part creepypasta, read brilliantly by someone I can't actually remember, but I will send a link in my description because it is so goddamn brilliant. Is Slenderman versus the Rake. I know, I'm sorry, but this is the one that really got me into creepypastas, and it's a good introduction to all the main-ish characters in the creepypasta universe. So you got Slenderman, the Rake, Jeff, for Willow Men. Oh, I forgot about Willow Men. They're pretty good. Sorry. Others that I don't want to mention, Eyeless Jack. Yeah, main one. God, he's pretty creepy. Sorry. Yeah, and yeah, it's kind of comical. It's the more comical one out of the three because it's funny how all these things take place in one small town. It's like, that's kind of stupid when you think about it, but at the same time, it's freaking awesome. So those were my top 10-ish creepypastas, and I know there are some really good ones, like I've even mentioned some good ones like Willow Men and Eyeless Jack, and they're good characters, but and they were really good stories, but they didn't quite hit this list. And some of these aren't even on anyone else's top 10 list, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just these are my personal favourite and really caught me off guard. I mean, yeah. And some, if not most, all generally did creep me out, which is the intention of creepypastas, hence the title. But it was really good. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will also leave a link in descriptions to like Mr. Creepypasta, Creepypasta Junior, all the main ones who read this stuff. And you guys are brilliant, by the way, whoever does read these, because if you do not know, I am severely dyslexic, so if someone reads it to me, it's even better, and you get to think it through. It's brilliant. So, I thank you for watching, and if you are a Creepypasta fan, thank you for taking the time to listen to my thoughts. I know you probably disagree extremely, but, that's what it's my opinion. I don't mind. And if you want to share your thoughts, mean or nice, there's the box below, and feel free to message. I'm Joe Henry. Thank you. face looks awful in this. You can see my eczema. Ugh. Disgusting. I know what a lot of people who've been watching this video are probably thinking, well, the main one, am I drunk? I'm not drunk. I am drinking beer, but this is my only one, and I've drunk just that. You know, this is my day off. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Oh shit, it's fizzing up. That was a bit mean. I didn't mean to say I do whatever the fuck I want. That sounds really... I hate people when they say that. I do what I want. It's just hit me now. Yeah, so this is my top 10 creepypasta video. This is like sort of blooper bits. This is like... I've already done a load of takes already, so... Editing this is going to be a bitch, but it'd be worth it, because I haven't done a video in ages. I'm going to edit it now, actually, because, you know, goodbye.